and send debris through the air like missiles. Jeez, how are you going to get out of the way of that thing?
Wow, if you're caught in a tornado or you're caught in a flash flood event, what exactly are you supposed to do?
Whoa, what's this guy doing? And this water is about 6 inches now, and it's enough to stall vehicles and even float vehicles in some cases. You're going to lose control, and you don't want to be this guy. So if you come to a street that's flooded, turn around, don't drown.
These types of natural disasters seems to be occurring more frequently. Is that because there's more of us spread over more of the earth and we have better social media to actually tell people about these events? Or is it because the climate is changing and the events are becoming more likely? It's probably a combination of both. Even I in Barrie, Canada, was 20 miles away from an F2 tornado that touched down in Barrie this week. And you'll see how quickly flying debris actually occurs and how little warning you have from this video from a trucker who was actually very close to the landing zone of the F2 in Barrie. So the tornado, you may have an idea, but you may not have any chance at all to actually prepare for it. And it's the same with flash flooding. Flash flooding that has happened in Western Europe and very many other countries this week around the planet actually occurred very, very quickly. In fact, in Germany, a lot of the homes that were just totaled and in fact destroyed by the water had been there for 300 years. They hadn't really had a cause in the last 300 years to be concerned about severe flooding. Although a lot of the areas had minor flooding in the past, they haven't really seen what happened, which was a hammer blow of water stalled over a continent, just dropping and dropping and dropping. So I asked for people for advice for what to do about tornadoes and stuff, and it was really great. Obviously have a helmet, obviously have tools, escape tools in a deep part of the house. Make sure you have as many walls between you as possible. Make sure the area you're in is not going to flood. And also, which I thought was really interesting, was I had charged up my electronic devices for use after the event if it hit, but I was told, and I think this is true when I looked into it, is yeah, charge them up but unplug them before it hits, because there will be probable power surge as all the transformers start to fall.
Roof's severely damaged here, and there can be extensive power outages. Jeez, that was close.
So I thought, what better place to look for advice than the Weather Channel? So sit back and enjoy. I'm going to show you a video that they did on flash floods, and then I'm going to show you a video they did on tornadoes.
Every thunderstorm begins with a single raindrop, but trillions can follow and all that water rushes downhill. The early makings of a disaster. And it doesn't need to be raining where you are. A street like this in a valley can funnel the water, creating a dangerous setup for a flash flood. Heavy rainfall is the main ingredient in flash flooding. Other factors include building in a flood zone, improper drainage, and ground that's just too wet and can't absorb any more water. And this happens fast. Now look at the street. The water is business to business here, wall to wall. Whoa, what's this guy doing? And this water is about 6 inches now, and it's enough to stall vehicles and even float vehicles in some cases. You're going to lose control, and you don't want to be this guy. So if you come to a street that's flooded, turn around, don't drown. More than half of the deaths from flooding each year occur in vehicles. And the water's still rising here. In fact, it's enough to float pretty much anything away that's not bolted down. At 2 feet, it's going to carry away even cars like this. Oh my gosh, look at this. This is an SUV, and the water is high enough now to carry SUVs and pickup trucks. And this water is well inside these businesses, and this is scary. This is bad. That's not good to see something like that. We're talking some immense destruction with the force of this water. It can carry debris for miles, entire trees. In fact, water flowing at just 10 miles an hour can produce the same force as winds blowing at 300 miles an hour. Look at this. This is a huge log coming down the road, and it's so scary. You never know it's even in the water, but you can see some of the larger objects, including a truck right here. Absolutely life-threatening situations that come with flash flooding. And unfortunately, more heavy rain events are occurring due to our warming climate. So you are more likely to be caught in this situation. If you ever do get stuck in a flash flood, try to stay calm. Get as high as possible and make yourself visible while you wait for first responders. Heavy rain events are predicted to be 40% more common for parts of the country within this century. Just as quickly as the water came up, it goes down, leaving behind a muddy mess of debris and dangers like sharp objects, hazardous waste, also a big concern, and down power lines. So follow the forecast, and remember, when a road is flooded, always, always turn around, don't drown.
Tornadoes are one of the most feared and destructive forces on the planet, capable of producing catastrophic damage in a matter of seconds. And it's that trail of destruction that is used to determine the tornado's rating. It's called the Enhanced Fujita Scale, or EF scale. And today, all the ingredients are coming together for some big storms. Let's take a look outside. Trouble is already brewing. We've got a tornado warning for that cell right there. This is when you and your family need to get to your safe place to ride out the storm. Wow, take a look at this storm. It's incredible. Great looking structure here, guys. We've got rotation going on at the base here. All right, a lowering of that base. We call this a supercell, by the way. A rotating thunderstorm is a supercell. Not all of them produce tornadoes, but this one's got a chance. We're watching this base, it's lowering. Almost looks like there's a funnel starting to appear from the wall cloud. Yes, there it is. Do we have debris on the ground? Yes, we do. There's a debris cloud, a connection. Now you have a tornado on the ground at this time. When tornadoes form, they're not usually that wide, okay? Just like this one. But it's important to point out that size doesn't always equate to the intensity. Today, there's a mobile Doppler radar actually feeding back real-time wind speeds. And I'm being told that those wind speeds are approaching about 85 miles per hour. So that's likely going to be an EF0. All right, EF0 damage here is tree branches thrown around, some roof shingles peeled back. But hold on, let's look at this tornado. It's going from more of a rope now to a much thicker tornado, much wider tornado. It looks more like a stovepipe now. It's called a stovepipe because it resembles one. This could produce EF1 damage, potentially. All right, 86 to 110 mile per hour winds here. Mobile homes now can be flipped or rolled, roofs severely damaged here, and there can be extensive power outages. Jeez, that was close. Look, when you got a tornado like this, power lines are going to fall, sometimes like dominoes, just like you see here. You got to stay clear of these, even if they don't appear to be live. They're still extremely dangerous. The ground may be energized around the pole. All right, stand at least 40 feet away. And frankly, if you're standing where I am, you're way too close. Way too close. All right, that was intense. Let's keep looking at this tornado because it's still moving toward us. And from what I'm hearing from the Doppler on wheels, it is still intensifying. They're getting winds now 111 to 135 miles per hour. So this is likely an EF2, all right, if they can find the damage that is equal to that. Winds are now strong enough to not just roll a mobile home, but completely destroy it. Tear off complete roofs and send debris through the air like missiles. Jeez, how are you gonna get out of the way of that thing? This is exactly why we need you away from all the exterior walls, because debris flying through the air like that leads to so many injuries and deaths in tornadoes. We're still under a tornado warning. The twister is now more than likely producing EF3 damage. Doppler winds exceed 150 miles per hour. This tornado is capable of severely damaging large structures and destroying well-constructed homes. Like this one that we brought into the studio. Roof's gone, the only thing left in this house are a few interior rooms, all right? The safest place in this house is the central bathroom. This is the lowest level that you should be in if you don't have a shelter that is below ground. Put as many walls between you and the outside that you can. And remember, when you go to take cover, grab a helmet, grab a sturdy pair of shoes, because you have to walk outside after the tornado, and that presents all kinds of new hazards. Clearly, an EF3 is life-threatening. Thank goodness less than 1% of all tornadoes in the U.S. are classified higher. The problem is, that's exactly what we're seeing here. The mobile Doppler radar now detecting winds in excess of 180 miles per hour. That is likely EF4 damage. I mean, look at the funnel. You can't even see it from edge to edge. This type of tornado is pulverizing everything in its path. Huge, heavy objects thrown into the air and carried several hundred feet. Oh, jeez, you gotta be kidding me. Look at this. This beat up 3,000-pound car. It was lofted by the tornado and tossed around like that piece of wood that we saw earlier. It could have come from a mile away. It's mangled. We got gasoline leaking out. That's even creating more hazards. You know, it's not unusual for tornadoes to displace large objects. In the past, a bus was carried a half a mile, a mattress some 40 miles, and paper lofted and carried over 200 miles from its original starting place. Surely this tornado is lofting objects up and centrifuging them out. It means business, and believe it or not, it is actually getting stronger. Look at how massive this thing is. This is called a wedge tornado because it is wider than it is tall. They can be more than a mile across, sometimes even more than 2 miles across. Imagine that thing coming at you with 200-mile-per-hour winds. This is a deadly EF5. Lights? Yeah, they're starting to flicker now. We're about to get hit. This is as bad as it gets. I'm grabbing my helmet and I'm taking shelter now.
I've made my way into the Weather Channel safe room. This happens to be our fire suppression room. But in your case, it may be a bathroom. It may be an interior closet. Somewhere where you are at the farthest distance on the first floor from the outside walls. I mean, listen to what's going on out there. Listen to that. Those are big objects. Maybe the roof is being torn off. We don't know. But I've got a helmet. I've got a sturdy pair of shoes because you got to walk out of here. Take a deep breath before you emerge from your safe room because you're not going to believe what you're going to see, especially with what we hear and going on outside. Here's the deal. I'm going to stay with you guys as long as I possibly can until we lose our signal, which may happen at any time. Be safe.
Unbelievable. Absolute, utter destruction. A sea of destruction as this area took a direct hit while we were away in our storm shelter. I mean, this is terrible. Homes completely wiped off their foundation here. Asphalt ripped up from the ground to the point where we don't even know what street that we're on here. Even automobiles stripped of their paint. We can still smell gas. Some fires going on behind us since we're here. This is a hazardous situation. So even though the tornado is past, for you and your family and your pets, make sure that you recognize this. We have huge pieces of debris, sharp edges all over the place, nails, 2x4s with nails that are sticking up onto the ground. Be careful where you walk once you emerge from the tornado shelter. This is classic EF5 damage. People's lives have been changed forever. And although rare, these types of tornadoes and this type of destruction are a reality for this country. Think back to Moore, Oklahoma on a couple of occasions. Joplin, Missouri of recent. Tuscaloosa, Alabama, strong EF4 there. Complete towns can be wiped off the map, like Greensburg, Kansas was back in May of 2007. No one in America is safe from the threat of a tornado, even in the winter. You need to have a plan that's communicated with your family and acted upon when you're under a tornado warning. You won't know the EF rating until the damage is done. So be prepared for any tornado, no matter what the size or the EF rating.
Good sound advice, I think, in all of those videos. And then to finish it up, as a homage to the dead and injured in Western Europe and other countries this week, I'm just going to put up a collection of the actual voices of the people affected in Western Europe. Once I've done that, I'm going to reflect on how safe my plans are. Some of the people affected were preppers, and I haven't seen anything online from them as yet. But when you look at what happened and the speed of it and what happened to the homes and the basements, you've got to consider your preps. Is your basement safe?
Hey, my walls have sprung a leak. Look at that. I'm gonna need help. The window's leaking. The floor is leaking.
If there's a little creek on your property that's never had a major flood, how safe are your preps if the water rises like this? It's an interesting fact that they're now losing rail links, road links, bridges, obviously, but they've also lost natural gas. They've lost sewerage. The water's literally scored through the earth and just torn apart all human-made structures in a huge area. And to get into those areas, except by helicopter, is nearly impossible. Rebuilding, they've said, will take 10 years or more. They don't really know how many people are dead. They do know it's approaching 200, and it's really, really dramatic. And one of the things we need to do when we see things like this isn't just to absorb it as a form of twisted entertainment, but to actually listen to the voices and imagine ourselves in their positions. Would the shock hit you so bad that you would just spend the day crying. But we do rely on the government to come and save us. In a big enough SHTF, there won't be any or very inadequate external help. You will be on your own, you will have to recover, you will have to move forward.
Luckily, I have my sister. We've been told that our house could be destroyed.
Haus, was da gestanden hat, da sehe ich ja nichts mehr. Da ist nichts mehr. Es sind 2 Häuser, die sind hier weg. Ne? Ehrlich. So schnell kommt man nicht gucken, wie das ging hier. Ne.
Ja, die Ader ist ein kleiner Bach, sag ich, oder der hat meistens so 50, 60 Zentimeter Höhe und ist ein ganz harmloser Fluss eben. Ne? Das ist also nichts. Der ist ja jetzt, weiß ich mal, 4, 5 Mal so groß, im jetzigen Zustand. Und diese Nacht war es ja Wahnsinn.
Aber Strom gibt es ja wohl in der
What you see here now is worse than after a bombing raid, and this is guaranteed to take 10 years. The people are all broke, the businesses have been hurt, so it's just horrible now.
Die Brücke wurde hochgezogen, noch rechtzeitig. Ne? Da kann man ja drüben den Steg kann man hochziehen. Die haben sie in Sicherheit gebracht und dann kamen aber in Folge irgendwas zwischen 8 und 12 Autos die A runtergeschwommen und irgendwann war die Brücke weg.
Ich stand da oben auf der Terrasse und habe dann hier runter geguckt, wie das von hier geschwommen kam. Die Schützenhalle da, unser Gemeindehaus, das krachte komplett weg, das hängt jetzt da vor der Brücke. Ein riesen 40-Tonner, der hängt auch noch, der muss auch noch da hängen. Dann hier stand ein Haus, das kippte davor. Das kann man sich nicht vorstellen, so was das ist. Die Leute, die da wohnen, man kennt die alle, die tun mir sowas von leid. Die haben ja nichts mehr, die haben jetzt noch das, was sie am Leib haben, alles weg. Da hinten ein Kumpel, der hat da eine Werkstatt, da steht nichts mehr. Die Bäckerei, Fleischerei, ist alles im Arsch, alles weg. Da kriegt man schon Flattern, ne?
Wir haben noch keine.
We don't know if there is anybody inside those cars, but we hope everyone managed to get out, he says.
How would you describe what you have seen?
Oh, I have no words for that, really. I can just imagine if it looks like this last time in 1945 or something like this. It's disgusting.
Among the residents here is Magdalena, who, like many, says she spent the morning crying. There's still a sense of disbelief by what just happened. She shows us the handful of possessions that survived: a hat, a century-old cross.
Haben Sie viel verloren?
Everything. I lost everything, she says, except the clothes on my back. Volunteers are showing up with buckets and shovels.
So this was a bedroom.
The house we're standing in is 300 years old.
You're mad when you see this, and you can't imagine what a power water have to destroy everything here. Yeah. So everything is destroyed, the streets, the houses.
That's it for me. I'm going to do a couple more videos on this topic. So I'm going to show the effects of the West German floods, because I think it's really important to look at Luxembourg and Belgium and Switzerland and Austria, not just the couple of towns that they're highlighting, because the media crews can get to them in Germany. And think about, when you're watching those videos, if that was here, what would I do? And what could I do beforehand to protect, to mitigate? I'm also going to put up a video which I think is really important, showing major flooding around the world this week that isn't related to Western Europe's flooding, except for London, England, which is sort of related. I wanted to put that up as separate from the Western European because they have Brexit, so they're no longer Europeans. Have a great week. If you like this video, give me a sub, give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs down, tell me why. And have a fine time, and that's it for me. Doodles! This has been a Cat in a Mirror production, 2021.